Hello, I'm April Cheek-Messier, President and CEO of the National D-Day Memorial. This year, as we commemorate yet another D-Day anniversary, we will sadly do so without a dear friend who has been instrumental in our D-Day commemorations over the years, Normandy veteran Ash Rothlein. Shortly after his 20th birthday in June 1944, he found himself on Omaha Beach, a member of the 187th Advanced Army Ordnance Depot Company. He was greeted by a scene he never forgot. As he exited his landing craft, the battle had already moved inland, but the carnage, signifying an immense amount of sacrifice, was clearly visible. From that moment on, Ash made a promise to himself. If he survived the war, he would give back through selfless service to others. Over the years, Ash was a faithful friend and supporter of the National D-Day Memorial, giving back in so many ways. His vision and determination spearheaded the installation of this very sculpture, Homage, in 2014 for the 70th anniversary of D-Day. On that date and every year afterward, Ash placed his own French Legion of Honor medal on Homage in tribute to all those who did not return from the war. Ash Rothlein never forgot the young soldiers, the servicemen of D-Day, who died so that he could march up the bluffs of Normandy and survive. As he often said, it became the defining moment of his life's path and purpose. He lived his promise, giving back in innumerable ways during his remarkable 97 years. He epitomized the tenets of service and sacrifice. He is another of the greatest generation, leaving us with the task of carrying on what they carried forward through their lives. For Ash, the war was an unforgettable experience that shaped how he lived his life. He would want others to know that the best way to honor his generation is to live a life with meaning and service. He exemplified this in his own, as so many in the World War II generation did. We will deeply miss the days when Ash stood here and welcomed us all while imparting his words of wisdom and beautiful insight into the world and what really matters. He breathed life into the memory of the veterans who have long since left us. He has now joined their ranks, and it is up to us to carry on his legacy.
Good morning, everybody. Feels like I'm climbing the hill in 1944, but I want to share an experience I had during the war, very early. Franklin Delano Roosevelt, the president, declared December 7th, 1941, a day of infamy, when the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor. In the meantime, the U.S., with Great Britain, prepared a major response to overthrow Hitler, the mad Nazi German dictator, bent on enslaving the world. He was savaging and capturing most European countries. On June 6, 1944, named D-Day, the 1st U.S. Army stormed Omaha and Utah Beach off the English Channel in Normandy, France. They crippled the Nazi coast stronghold at a cost of 2,500 U.S. lives, soldiers, on D-Day alone, in the most crucial battle of the war. Offshore, once the beaches were cleared, thousands of ships delivered and cluttered the sands with literally untold vehicles, tanks, weapons, half-tracks, trucks, howitzers, and fuel. We were told to select a vehicle of our choice to partner with throughout the war. I chose a 6x6 heavy cargo truck because my grandfather taught me how to drive one when I was 11. We started across the beach in a heavy fog, moving up a steep bluff on a wide underbrush path through matted terrain. Soon we made a turn. The fog lifted and revealed a sight so shocking and stark in its finality that my internal response was seismic and everlasting. Grave markers littered the ground as far as the eye could see. Those brave warriors paid with their lives so I and my band of brothers could crest that hill and do our part to win the war. I still feel the sadness, guilt, and determination of that memorable experience. In late July, my company were ready to break out of Normandy and push out the invaders with our powerful forces past Paris and out of various Nazi-occupied cities throughout France. One pre-dawn day, from our new living space in a field well behind the combat forces, my buddies and I were startled out of our slit trenches. The deafening roar of formations of heavy American bombers filled the skies. We were told that there were thousands of aircraft passing over us with the greatest array of air power ever displayed during the war or any war since. We cheered until we were hoarse. We were so excited from screaming with joy. It was our Air Force on a surprise raid to break the impasse of the German stronghold in a city called Saint-Lô. The success of that mission became the springboard for the armies, our armies, to make major rapid advances beyond Paris. After the raid, our company commander directed us to break camp immediately. We were urgently called to lead a convoy of armored vehicles and munitions supplies to our front lines. Sometime later, I remember rumbling along the hilly potholed road in my 6x6 truck in a miserable mist and rain. Rounding a curve, heading up a steep incline, I saw far in the distance a sprawling village. Below and behind us was our convoy of 140-odd vehicles following in unison with a steady engineer roar. Approaching the village at dusk, we were so dumbstruck with the unfolding scene that I wrote about it years ago and saved a newspaper copy because I was deeply moved by the experience. Every church bell tolled nonstop. The citizens lined both sides of the road, waving and cheering as one. Their reaction was spontaneous, explosion of energy, joy, and tears. Our convoy paused. We were spellbound and overcome with this generous reception. With the sight of our massive convoy approaching, they realized they were indeed liberated. They threw flowers and food toward us. We responded with cigarettes and candy. We pumped our fists with tears of joy. Every child and woman, farmer and worker, reached out to us as we edged our way up through the village. Needless to say, we were so energized by this once-in-a-lifetime experience that we rode the rest of the night to our destination in our own way, absorbed with the fullness of this epiphany, burned into my soul to this and every D-Day, is the eye contact and closeness I shared with all those beautiful French citizens. Their relief and gratitude for finally being freed from their Nazi oppressors spoke volumes to me as to why it was an honor to serve during that war. It was indeed an unparalleled and unforgettable treasured moment of communion with people of another culture, forever reminding me that we are all one where love abounds. It was indeed an unparalleled and unforgettable treasured moment of communion with people of another culture, forever reminding me that we are all one where love abounds again. Today is the 7th annual D-Day tribute we pay via this new sculpture that we named as Homage. I just can't forget it. So who was I then, and who am I now? I'm Ash Rothlein. I served honorably for 3 years until war's end as a 19-year-old skinny kid, rejected from the Air Force and Navy, trying to join with my 2 brothers because I was colorblind. But the Army was happy to have me in an advanced combat-trained ordnance company private. I'm still that 19-year-old skinny kid who, with his heart and soul, fire and spirit, as I give you these words today on my annual D-Day tribute to our fallen heroes of the Normandy invasion. I'm no hero, but I consider myself a lifelong public servant who participated on the Normandy invasion. Please join me now in closing with our incantation. I'll start the first one, but then follow me. You shall never be forgotten. You shall never be forgotten. You shall never be forgotten. And once more, you shall never be forgotten. And finally, so the whole world can hear you, you shall never, ever, ever be forgotten.
This June the 6th, visitors will still assemble around Homage with Ash's medal hanging from the sculpture he loved. With the crowd gathered around once more, we will chant with renewed spirit and determination. Ash's legacy, like those of his comrades, lives on. They will never be forgotten.